The English people, they're really proud, and so like quite often you'll joke around with them about just history and things like that. At one point they ruled the world, now they really don't, and things like that. So you get to have a lot of fun conversations with them about that. But they're proud of their like heritage, where they've come from, and a lot of what they're doing. So that's definitely something you can always strike a conversation about. They like to talk about the weather and generally complain about it, but it rains every day, so it's really easy just to be like, oh, it's raining again, and instant conversation on a bus, and you can just go from there. In England, I'd say the culture, it's got a huge Christian background, but it's slowly starting to go to the wayside. A lot of Catholic and Church of England influence, but they've been fighting over all the centuries, and now the youth of today in England, I would say, generally aren't very religious. They're kind of going downhill, and they need a lot of help, and so they're the people that'll talk to you the most are young adults, but quite often you really have to work with them to get their interest and to help them to see where they can go. But I would say that's one of the biggest groups that ends up getting baptized in the mission is like young single adults, and then families as well. We find quite a few of them. They won't call it dinner time or supper or whatever other American terms use. It's called tea. So if you get there and your trainer's like, all right, we got a tea appointment at 5 o'clock, you're not going to break the word of wisdom, don't worry. Tea just means dinner. And so you'll go somewhere and have tea and just eat dinner. That's one of the most asked questions out there, I think. Is it okay if we go to tea? Yeah, it's fine, don't worry. One advice I would give you is, I don't know, YouTube some like ideas on how to have proper etiquette. Because when I hit the MTC, one of my good friends, his name was Elder Bruder, or Eustace, he watched all of us Americans sitting there eating away and stuff, and he's like, I'm not letting you go into Europe eating like that. So he sat there and he's like, all right, you hold the knife in this hand, you hold the fork in this hand, the knife in this hand, and he taught us how to eat properly. And most members are pretty relaxed and don't care, but if you're in investigators' homes or in members that are a bit more traditional, you need to know how to eat properly, and it's actually pretty effective. So that's something I do, is like learn how to eat the British style. There's probably YouTube videos, I'm sure, about it, so look it up, figure it out. But that's something that could save you a lot of time and a lot of white shirts, because at first I couldn't even like hit my mouth with my left hand, so I got lasagna all over my white shirt. It was a mess. So that's something you could do. A lot of them just kind of fall under being a missionary, being dignified, and so like shake people's hands, be courteous, be on time, definitely be on time. But for the most part, English people are pretty laid back. You're not really going to offend them easily. Just be polite. Use appropriate language. If you're using dignified language, you're never going to have a problem offending people. And so just keep that in mind. Generally take your shoes off when you go in their home, and just be polite in general. There's not anything in particular that'll really offend them or upset them that I can think of.